Let me set the scene for you. Me, a month ago, and the Corsair customer support, and a faulty kit of DDR4 RAM. I like Corsair products. They're not bad. I actually really like them. I have a keyboard. It's great. It's really clicky and it's fun. So I thought, wouldn't it be great to buy my RAM for my newest PC build with Corsair? Because they're a great company. And to be fair, they kind of are. But this time, when I actually bought some RAM from them, let's just say things didn't turn out as well as I wanted to. And so I had to talk to support for a replacement, which in any normal situation, if people have a good customer support team, it shouldn't be that big of a deal because they should be good at their job and I'll get my replacement back within a week, maybe two. That did not happen with Corsair. Like I said, a month ago, I submitted a ticket and it took a long time. I only got my RAM back yesterday as of filming right now. So I have been stuck without a computer for a very long time. I could probably talk about this in a much more in-depth video if I wanted to, talk about how crap Corsair's customer support was. But to be fair, they did send me a replacement a month later. But during this whole fiasco of me waiting a really long time to be able to make a video, I recently bought a PS4 Pro because there were some exclusives I wanted to play. And I thought, why not? A lot of the games sound like fun. I'll try it. Little did I know this would be the only place I'd be playing video games for the next, 3 weeks. So I thought I would make this video documenting my experience in a review format. I know this is really weird, but what are you going to do? I don't have any footage. How's it going to work? I'm going to go through all the games that I played. Some of them good, some of them bad. We're going to see how does it stack up to PC from my perspective. We'll just go from there. It says here on the list that I wrote, I played Shadow of the Colossus, Uncharted 1 through Lost Legacy, Final Fantasy 15, although that's not technically an exclusive anymore because it's on PC now, Battlefront 2, which also isn't exclusive, Horizon Zero Dawn, Monster Hunter World, you can play that on anything, but it's not on PC yet, so it's still technically a console exclusive, Bloodborne, and Kingdom Hearts 2.8. I also played Last of Us, but I think I'll probably try and finish that game before I actually talk about my thoughts on that game. They're kind of controversial, to say the least, my thoughts, so we'll get back to that some other time. So Shadow of the Colossus, what did I think about that? I thought it was fine. I don't really understand what the hype is about it. I thought it felt pretty old. Donkey in one of his videos said that the climbing felt pretty poor. I kind of agree, kind of don't. It's pretty fun. The music is great. I gotta give it that. The monsters the Colossus look great. I am gonna put a disclaimer out. I haven't finished the game, but I'm going to at some point. But as far as what I've played, it's kind of empty. It's a really, really big map, but I don't really understand why it was... Well, I understand that it came out on PS2, so it's very revolutionary, but I never played it on my PS2. And as far as playing it right now, it feels kind of lackluster in today's standards. I don't know. The technical aspect of the remaster, though, or I guess remake, it looks phenomenal. I play, as I said before, I have a PS4 Pro. It ran at 60 FPS. I tried it on the higher quality graphics, and I could not get over how good it looked in 60 FPS. So I stuck with that. Technically, this game is great. This visually, audibly, frame rate wise, it's great. As far as the gameplay, it's kind of mixed. I kind of found that all of the Colossus had their thing, but once you figured out their thing, it was really easy to kill them. Some of them were tedious. Of course, I haven't beaten all of them, so maybe it gets better from here, but there were a few Colossus that I thought were not as good as the others, but that's just my take on it. I found it a little weird that it was an open world. It didn't really make much sense. I guess it's supposed to be symbolic of a long lost, forgotten civilization that people are no longer in. I guess it's good to show that it's empty, but it just kind of makes it feel tedious and boring for most of the time. It kind of feels like it would fit really well on the Switch, I guess, because it feels like, oh, I'm gonna put down 20 minutes to go and find a Colossus and then kind of look at it and hope maybe I can kill it. I don't know, it feels like it's very good and bite-sized. I've never really sat down for 2 hours and played it single go. I got bored really quick. Of course, this is all subjective. It goes with all of the reviews that I'm doing for each of these games. Your opinion is just as valid as mine, but these are just my thoughts. Next, I'm going to talk about the Uncharted series for a little bit, which I freaking love linear story-based large action set piece games. They're just my guilty pleasure, I guess, because they're just so freaking cool, and there's a lot of replayability for me because it just feels like you're playing a movie, which I just love. Let's sort Uncharted 1 through 3 into the Nathan Drake collection just to make it simpler. All my thoughts kind of fit pretty well on all three of those games. Kind of similar to Shadow of the Colossus, kind of felt old. A lot of the game mechanics felt like it just didn't age very gracefully. Beautiful game. The writing is great. I love the writing. Sound, the music is awesome. There are just moments in the gameplay which it felt unfair at times, like Uncharted 2 with the Blue Yeti guys. It's been a while since I've beaten that game, but the guys in Shambhala, you know what I'm talking about. Those guys, I felt were a little unfair and frustrating. Of course, maybe that was just my difficulty, but meh, whatever. Same thing with Uncharted 3. I felt like the time where, spoilers if you haven't played Uncharted 3, where there's like the fiery men when you're drugged, I felt was really just frustrating. It felt really out of place. I don't really know why they had to be so much more difficult than the regular enemies, but I mean, maybe I'm just a baby and don't know how to play video games. Also, I was getting used to a controller again, so that's probably a big portion of it. But a lot of the situations I felt like I couldn't have done anything, and that's frustrating for me, but I could just be incompetent. For Uncharted 4, boy, I love that game. I felt like it fixed a lot of the problems with the first three. It made climbing feel more fluid, which to me, when I was first playing Uncharted, felt like it was impossible. I was like, oh, I don't like how this goes anymore. But it felt like a slower pace almost, but somehow that made it more satisfying to climb. But all those unfair moments, I thought, in the gameplay where you have shootouts kind of weren't there. I don't know. Maybe it was the addition of hit markers. I felt in the other games, not having hit markers, it was really hard to tell if you were going to kill someone or not. And it felt like it took way too many bullets to actually put someone down. With Uncharted 4, you'll see if you're just doing normal damage with white hit markers and if you get a kill with a red hit marker. So it felt very satisfying when you hit someone because you're like, oh, I know I killed him because it said right there, it said I killed him and I know I'm hitting him and I know where I'm hitting him. And it felt like I had more control in that sense. With Uncharted Lost Legacy, I feel a lot of the same things of Uncharted 4, partially because it's basically the same. It's basically just a standalone DLC for Uncharted 4, which for a DLC, I wish there was more because it was so much fun to play as Chloe. I honestly wish I could have played as Nadine because it was so much fun to have them in the same game. I thought the writing between both of them was great. I thought at first Chloe felt a little unlikable, but maybe that's just because her and Nadine they didn't like each other at first, but then they had, just because of the nature of the adventure, they had to be like, oh crap, well, we're stuck together. Might as well stop being jerks to each other. It was very honestly written with how they interacted with each other, which was great. I felt Nadine was a lot easier to hate than Uncharted 4, but she was really likable in this game, I felt. So I don't know. I'd recommend, if you liked Uncharted 4, I really recommend Lost Legacy. Moving on to Final Fantasy 15. Of course, this is on PC, and I'll probably be getting it on PC, so I think I might just save my thoughts for this. But suffice it to say, I had a ton of fun with it. I spent probably like 80 hours in this game, just messing around and stuff. I remember there being a lot of leveling issues. I didn't really play very many side quests, though, so that's probably my problem with leveling. Combat felt very satisfying. I am a lover of Kingdom Hearts, as you can probably tell by my posters, and it felt very Kingdom Hearts, which was freaking great. I love those games, and something about the animation with the characters were just muy bueno. Super spicy. I like them. Battlefront 2, I played like 10 minutes of the multiplayer, and I played the campaign. The campaign actually wasn't as bad as I was expecting because I was hearing a lot of bad things. I think the first mission, if you're gonna play that game for anything, you should play it for that because it was the coolest mission. Oh my gosh. You're basically, it's not really spoilers. I don't know if anyone cares about spoilers at this point, but basically you're an Imperial soldier and you're trying to break out of a ship because you're a prisoner, and it starts off stealthily and then it gets all shooty and firefighty at the end. But at the beginning, it's freaking great. I really recommend that level. It's the best out of that game, I think. I got it for free with my PS4 Pro, so I don't know. what can you do? It's free. Horizon Zero Dawn. Haven't played a whole lot of this either. I bought a bunch of games in bulk to fill my library of PS4 games, so I haven't played a ridiculous amount of it, but what I have played is pretty good. I enjoy it a fair bit. I think for me, usually I don't really have much trouble with difficulty because usually normal is the perfect, like, not too hard but still really satisfying difficulty. In this game, it really felt like you were not powerful, like, at all. Like, to me, I felt really underpowered. Of course, that varies between skill levels of people, so I'm not gonna say downvote for that game, but I had to change it. I had to lower it for the first time to easy mode, and I felt I had a lot more fun, but I kind of felt disappointed because it was really easy at that point. So it felt like I didn't really have to rely on finding weaknesses. But even when I was doing that in normal mode, it didn't feel like I was doing very much. So like, it felt like an ordeal every time I had to fight something, which I wanted to be fun. So that's why I ended up doing that. I'll finish it at some point. I'm not going to give it a review score, but those are just my thoughts. I think I put down 15 hours. I think, maybe, I don't know how to check on PS4. Next, Monster Hunter World. I was so stoked for this game. I was gonna wait to buy it on PC because I know it's coming, but they were like, it's gonna come in fall, and I'm like, I can't wait that long. So I bought it for PS4, and it is a ton of fun. I think I have 40 hours in it. It is great. I never played a Monster Hunter before. Well, I played one on 3DS, and it was confusing to say the least, and there were no tutorials, and there was a lot of stuff that I didn't understand, and also it was on the 3DS, so, but this comes to the new generation of consoles, and as far as I'm aware, it hasn't been here since the Wii. There's nothing quite like Monster Hunter, as far as I can tell, where you're going out on hunts with people. It's a very cooperative experience, unless you want to play it by yourself, which is just as viable. It's a little bit more difficult for me, but it's still a lot of fun. I think my biggest criticism is that it's hard to find people for the mission that you want to do. For me, I'm on this one mission where I have to fight this monster. I'm not going to say who it is because you should find out for yourself, but I'm on this one mission where I cannot get past because no one will help me, and you don't level up your freaking character until you beat a main quest. You can't level up by doing side quests, or your hunter rank, that is. So I've been super terrified of fighting this monster, so I've just been grinding other monsters. Granted, that's still a ton of fun, but I feel like that's my only criticism, is that I want to be able to find people to help me. And it seems like the only way to find people to help you is by using an SOS flare, and that's flaky at best because you're just relying on the goodwill of other people. But overall experience with Monster Hunter World, it's pretty freaking great. Bloodborne. Oh my gosh, I bought this 2016, I think. My friend Jared and I, we do videos together, I'm sure you're aware. Jared and I play a lot of Dark Souls, like a lot of Dark Souls. We played through Dark Souls 2 and 3. We tried 1, we didn't like it, but whatever. We friggin' love the style of those games. It's a ton of fun. And Jared is a hardcore PC player, and he does not own a PS4, so we did a whole thing where I have a second PS4 that's not mine, but I have access to, so I lent him the PS4, and we've been playing through Bloodborne. It is fantastic. It's got great multiplayer, the bosses are awesome, the music is great. We've been playing through the DLC. We haven't quite finished it, but I recommend. It is so much fun. If I were to give it a rating, it'd be just as good as Dark Souls 3, and I love Dark Souls 3, so go play it if you have the chance. The last one, Kingdom Hearts 2.8. I was a bit nervous to actually buy this game because it's $60 for practically just a 2-hour demo that I was only interested in because it's the engine for Kingdom Hearts 3, and I am incredibly excited for Kingdom Hearts 3. So I've played it. I beat it in 2 hours, of course, and it's really fun. It is really, really fun. It has this weird thing where it blows your eardrums out because it's really loud, so I just turn down my headphones and I'm all good. But yeah, if you're gonna play that, make sure if you're wearing headphones, turn down the sound. But if you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, I don't know if I'd recommend this game. It's really fun, and I think Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be great, but I think the $60 price tag is probably not a good idea. Unless you can find it cheap on a sale or something, maybe go for it, but 2 hours is just not worth it. Dream Drop Distance comes with it, and that's a meh game at best. And then it comes with the back cover movie, which the story for Kingdom Hearts, or like at least the overall lore surrounding Kingdom Hearts, hasn't super interested in me, so that's why I haven't watched it, but I probably will at some point. So if that's something that you're interested in, maybe you might want this. One thing that I did kind of hate, though, about PS4 in general is that there's the PS Plus subscription, which is just friggin', it's the worst. I'm super used to just buying a game and then you can play online with whoever. You already paid the money. Why do you have to pay for extra for the servers, which are like they've done it before? PC, it's just annoying. They do try to make up for it to where they give you a few free games every month, but you're basically just paying for those free games, and then you just get multiplayer on top of it. It's not worth it. It's freaking. I bought it because I have a friend of mine who I really like playing games with, and he's awesome. I love playing games with him. But it's just, if you're gonna play online, find a better way to do it. Play it on PC. It's gonna save you a lot more money, and honestly, it's just, you get better connections, and voice chat's way better on PC. I use this mic on PS4, and it does not sound nearly as good as it does right now. So there's one thing that I just really do not like about consoles in general, is how you have to pay for online. I think my overall experience with PS4, probably 60% positive, I think. I think my biggest problem was that I didn't have access to my computer to make things. So I was just like, I'd go to work, come home, and I couldn't do anything on my computer. So I had to just kind of sit down and play video games, which, like, on surface level sounds fine, but I was doing this for like 2.5 weeks, doing nothing and playing games. It was sad. I was frustrated at customer support, really. So that's not really PS4's fault. But I feel like a negative is I don't feel like I can do very much on my PS4. Not much versatility. I could use the web browser, but it amazes me how terrible the web browser is. For how much I paid for the PS4 Pro and the specs that are in it, I would expect it to run better, but it does not. And so I had to just stick to my phone for browsing and watching videos and going on Twitter and stuff like that. I couldn't do any of that on my console, which I feel like should be a thing. If you're gonna have this as your daily driver, that should be a thing. If you do not have that, I don't see how this is helpful. I mean, I see how it's portable for LAN parties, but if you didn't, I don't know. If you don't do LAN parties, I don't see how it's helpful. Pros, the exclusives. Oh my gosh, the exclusives are so fun. Most of them anyway. I know it kind of sucks that they're not on PC, but I mean, you gotta sell your console somehow. And boy, are they doing it. They've got so many great games. There's a game, God of War's coming out, and I already pre-ordered it, and I'm really excited about it. If anything, you're gonna buy a PS4 is you should get them for the exclusives, because there are a ton of really good exclusives. I will say, if you're gonna get a game, probably get it on disc, get it physical, because I bought Monster Hunter, Bloodborne, and a couple other games on digital, and man, the PS4 download is really bad. I have 100 megabits down, and the PS4 using Ethernet gets 32 down, which I feel like shouldn't be a thing, but that's how it was. One thing that this does provide to me is, with the lack of options, it also gives me the ability to just relax, because with the PS4 Pro, you sometimes get options about how you want the game to run and look, but it doesn't feel like a big thing that you have to think about. Like in PC, I love to go into the settings and change it to where it runs perfectly and it looks great. It's optimized perfectly. With this, it felt somehow relaxing that I didn't have to do that. I just booted up the game, and I knew that it was going to run the way it was supposed to be played, how the developers developed for it, and it was just I didn't have to think about it. I was just playing, and I didn't have to think about anything. I got to just recline and not think about it. I feel like not being able to alt tab to like a web browser, or like thinking about what am I going to edit or anything like this. Like, no, this was the time to play games and not think about anything else, which was kind of freeing and also really frustrating. If you're going to get a PS4, you should probably have your PC as a daily driver. PS4 Pro, or PS4 in general, I feel like is great, but it's not good enough to be your main place for playing games and entertainment in general, because the PC can just do so much more. But if you're looking for a place to relax, I think consoles, it just has PC beat, I think, because I don't always want to be at a desk on a mouse and keyboard. I sometimes want to be on a couch holding a controller. Sometimes I don't want to have headphones on. I want to just have speakers, and I could just recline any way I want. I feel like the biggest problem with the PC fight versus console is that they're kind of for different crowds and for different places. Because PC, I feel, is way more versatile and way better at basically everything, except the amount of options that it has is the winning factor, and also the thing that's killing it. Because with options, it also means you have to make decisions on what you're gonna do. With consoles, without those options, you don't have to think about it. It's a trade-off. It's like buying an Android over an iPhone. Android has more options, but iPhone just works. Same thing with Windows or Mac. It's convenience over options, I think, and that's what people misunderstand is they value one or the other, and they say one is better. So I wouldn't necessarily say that PS4 is a terrible machine. Definitely not. From a PC gamer's perspective, it was actually kind of fun to play all the exclusives. I honestly didn't mind much of the frame drops. Of course, I was playing on PS4 Pro, so there wasn't much of that, but some of the games run at 30 FPS, which kind of sucked, but I got used to it, so I don't know. I don't know if hardcore PC gamers will take kindly to something like that, but to me, who really does value 60 FPS, I got over it. I do, however, want to say to my fellow PC gamers, I wouldn't discount console gaming in general just because it's not PC. I was kind of in the same boat. I have a family member who has a bunch of consoles, and I'm like, I might play 1 or 2 games, but that's because that's the only place I can play it. I don't care about the console itself. I wouldn't necessarily discount it just because it does provide an experience that is different than PC. I'm not going to say it provides a better gaming experience or a technical experience, but I will say that it provides relaxation. And I don't feel, at least for me, I can't really relax at my PC a huge lot unless I'm playing with someone. It feels almost completely different of how it's made in the culture surrounding it. Of course, I don't think if you're a PC gamer, you should just run out and buy a PS4 right now. But if you're looking for something to have in your living room, or if you just don't want to be in your office all the time, I think a PS4 is a great way to go. Xbox, probably not, because a lot of the exclusives just go straight to PC, so there's not really a point for that. But PS4, it was a lot of fun. I thought it was great. And of course, all my opinions that I expressed in this video, they're my opinions. So if you have a different opinion, that's totally fine. You can go ahead and let me know in the comment section. If you are going to comment, please keep the civilness in check just so we can have an actual conversation. I'd love to hear, if you do have a PS4, what kind of games you like to play and suggestions for what I should play. But yeah. I don't know. That's my thoughts. They're kind of rambly, I know, but if you like this style of content, I'll probably do similar stuff. I'm going to experiment a little bit more with my content, but if you like this kind of video, please let me know. I'd love to tweak my stuff with your critiques. If you have questions, just let me know, and I will see you later. Bye!